The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hi folks, today on Aging Horizons we're going to be talking about a very important helping program called a RAM loan. It's a reverse annuity mortgage, and the Montana Board of Housing has this program, has had the program for many years, and it is a great one. It helps people who are low income to moderate income supplement after they retire. We have a lot to tell you about, so stay with us.
Montana is getting back to life after COVID-19. The COVID vaccine is the best way to keep us on track. The vaccine's been rigorously tested. It's proven to be safe and effective. And Montana doctors and nurses stand behind the vaccine because it works and it will save lives. The COVID-19 vaccine is the best way to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Sign up today to get your free COVID-19 vaccine. Visit covidvaccine.mt.gov.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
You mean I can get help paying my prescription drug premiums?
Let me get this straight. I could be eligible for help with my family's prescription premiums even though I own my own home?
And our assets won't be counted.
If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you could be eligible for help paying your premiums. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out, even if you think you're over income.
What do you know about that? I'm eligible.
Providing long-term care for someone in need is a labor of love, but it is a labor. Time apart is healthy and necessary both for the caregiver and the person receiving care. It allows each a respite, time to relax and recharge. If you're a long-term caregiver, visit the new Lifespan Respite website. Financial assistance may be available. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Hello and welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services. I'm your host, Kimmy Everman, and as I said in the open, we're talking about RAM loans today, or reverse annuity mortgages. And we have great guests with us, Rena Oliphant. And Rena, you are a program specialist with the Montana Board of Housing.
Yes, I am.
And you work with this RAM, or reverse annuity mortgage. Mm-hmm. Could you let's start out by saying, just what is a RAM, or a reverse annuity mortgage?
It's being able to use the equity in your home that you have built up and turn it into monthly payments that you can use. A lot of times people are just trying to live on Social Security. They need that little extra income, and they can use the equity that they have built up in their homes to do so.
So in order to sort of look into something like this, should everybody do it, for instance, or should it be one of those things that you sort of use as that ace in your pocket?
Well, we do have some criteria. Okay. There is income limits, there is age limits. Everybody in the household must be at least 68 years of age and older. And obviously, no, it doesn't always be the benefit for everybody, but it does help a lot of people, and it has allowed a lot of our Montana senior citizens to stay in their homes.
Sure. And, we've seen some things on television about RAM loans or reverse annuity mortgage, and that's not the same as what we have here in Montana, is it?
No, it's not. It's some of it is similar. The biggest thing is we service our own right in-house right here in Helena, Montana. You can call and talk to a person. We service the loans, we take care of it ourselves, and so you're always going to be able to have somebody right there. And it is, like I say, it is only for our Montana senior citizens. Your home must be a Montana home. And then it's also one of those things that we will work with you every step of the way to make sure that this is what you want to do. make sure you understand the program completely. There are scam ones out there, unfortunately. I've talked to people, that's heartbreaking, that have ran into them. But there are legitimate ones out there, very legitimate. The difference between theirs and ours is we are nonprofit.
Okay.
The only charges we charge anybody is the actual cost to do the loan, and then of course interest as you get payments. There's a lot of them out there that while they're legitimate, they can cost you a lot of money in closing costs, administrative fees. So that's a big difference.
Sure. So the ones you see on TV, if you're going to talk to them, okay, but be sure you talk to Montana Board of Housing as well, or you at the Board of Housing, or even one of the RAM counselors out in our area agencies on aging to find out just what might be a good resource for you.
Exactly, and thanks for bringing that up. We do have our RAM counselors all over the state so that you don't have to come to Helena. So you can contact us and we can direct you to the aging services counselor in your area. They will sit down with you, they'll help you fill out the application, they'll help answer questions, and they'll walk you through some of the steps.
Okay. And so let's, before we move on, let's talk once more about some of the criteria. You need to be at least 68, and everyone?
Yes, everybody in the household.
It needs to be at least 68.
At least 68 by the time it's closing. So if you're 67, getting ready to 68, we can work with that. But everybody does have to be 68 or older.
And what about, what if you still owe money on your mortgage?
And that's something that a lot of times we can work with. Depending on the value of your home and what you owe on the home, we may be able to use your loan to pay off that first loan. Which in order to do the loan, we would have to do that because we need to be the only lien holder.
Sure, okay.
But we can use a lot of times the proceeds to pay off that loan. So you may get a smaller monthly payment, but you no longer have that payment you're making to a bank.
Right.
So that also helps people.
Sure. And what about in terms of how long does it take to actually set this up? Let's say you've called the RAM counselor and you've gotten in for an appointment. How long does it usually take once that has started?
Correct. If everything is pretty straightforward, there's no hiccups in anything. Hiccups meaning, maybe there's a problem with your title or, different criteria. But generally, we can usually get them done in about 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow, that's pretty great.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, so we're saying everyone in the household needs to be at least 68 by the time of closing.
Correct.
You need to be a low to moderate income.
Correct.
Senior or senior couple.
Correct.
That are living in that home. You can have maybe a little bit left on your mortgage, but don't be scared off if you have a little left.
Exactly.
At least look into it and talk to a RAM counselor. And then once you go through all the paperwork, it's sort of like taking your loan back to yourself, isn't it?
It is. It's like borrowing, or not borrowing, but it's like turning your equity into cash.
Yeah.
So you're not jeopardizing your home, other than, of course, because you're borrowing against your home, we will put a lien on it, but still your home.
Right.
It's no different than getting a lien from a bank, other than we pay you instead of you paying the bank.
Which is the way to do it, right, Rita?
Yes.
And folks, we want to make sure that you have all the information that you need about this program. It's so important. It could be some extra money each month for you that could be very, very helpful, because we know being on a fixed income is difficult to make some of those higher payments. Prices go up all the time, and you may just need a little bit of an extra bump each month. This is a way to pay yourself back from that really great and enormous gift you gave yourself of buying a home and paying that mortgage off. So a great program. We have a whole lot more to tell you about how you can get access, how you can find the people who can share more information with you, and just give you an idea of what's out there for you. So stay with us.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
I was angry and upset when the doctor told me I have diabetes. I just didn't want to deal with it, the needles and the diet restrictions. But after I started to learn about it, those feelings changed. I was at risk for a heart attack caused by high blood sugar. That got my attention. I started watching my diet and making sure I got enough exercise every day. I want to be around for my grandkids, and now that I know what to do, it seems like a small price to pay.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
Hi folks, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're here talking about reverse annuity mortgages today with Rena Oliphant from the Montana Board of Housing. Rena, always great to have you here.
Thank you.
So let's really get into the nitty-gritty of these RAM loans. Let's talk about how they're structured and sort of some of the stuff that you want people to know before they decide, yeah, I want that.
Well, one of the questions I do get asked a lot is the fact of, well, what happens if when I pass away, I'm not leaving anything to my family? So the other thing that we do is we will only borrow you 80% of your appraisal value. So you will still have equity in your home, and hopefully over time that will still increase. And then the other thing is that once you do pass away, you don't have to worry about, once you get all of the payments, you don't have to worry about paying it back until either you pass away or not in the home. So that's the other thing that we do caution people. Don't take it necessarily so early. People are living long now.
Right.
If you start at 68, you get payments for 10 years.
Right.
A lot of people outlive those payments,
Yeah.
and then they've already used their equity,
Yes.
or a lot of it.
Yes.
And they aren't getting the payments anymore. So that is why it's important to work with those counselors and work with us, and we work with you every step of the way to make sure that you are making the best decision. But it's one of those things that it's different for everybody, and we don't want to overextend on your home.
Right. And I think in this day and age, I think we can believe that our homes are going to, the value will go up.
Exactly.
So, in all likelihood, it will be more of a value once you've gotten your 10 years of payments, but we don't know that. So what you guys have done is built a sort of some guardrails to make sure that that person still has something left.
Exactly.
In case something bad happens.
Exactly.
That they still have that little bit of equity that they can leave to the family, or if they need it for something else.
Correct.
Because they've had to leave their home.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, this is a kind of Montana's unique, right?
Yes.
And talk about that a little bit more, because you talked about it being not for profit, correct?
Correct.
So it's really a homegrown loan for folks.
It is. Not very many other states offer this. I've talked to a lot of banks, and they've even told us that they will refer them to us because they can't compete with what we can offer, the bank loans. And so when you come to us, we estimate total closing costs, including appraisal, title search, everything, about $2,000.
Wow.
And sometimes that's even a little bit less. And you go to a bank or you do other RAM loans, it can be in the 10s to 20,000 of closing costs.
Right.
The way we do keep adding to our pool of money to continue to borrow out is The interest is charged as you receive a payment. It's not on the total loan, it's interest that as you receive the money.
Oh.
So it's like a pool of money sitting over on the side, and we draw pieces out at a time, and that's the interest that you pay. Right now our interest rate is at 3%.
Oh, my heavens.
It has stayed at 3% for quite some time, but the maximum it would ever be, no matter what our interest rates are, is 5%.
Wow. Yeah. That's Rena, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm learning a lot today because we haven't talked in a bit, and I'm learning a lot. Now, what about? Are you seeing a lot of people using this program?
At the beginning of the pandemic, we really had probably the most loans at any one time that we have done. I think people were concerned. It has leveled off now, so we still do have plenty of money to loan out. There's no problem if you want to come and you want to talk to us. Our pool of money is safe and secure, and of course it's always going to be safe and secure with the state of Montana.
Yeah. And you know, it's really good to hear you say that, because I think in this day and age we don't have a lot of things that we can really say are going to be absolutely concrete there. So it's good to know that this is a program that, because I know the Montana Board of Housing really believes in this program.
Yes, we do.
And we really want to make sure that it's there for Montanans well into the future.
It is.
Yeah. Now, let's just talk for a minute about the RAM counselors before we get to the end of this segment. How are they trained?
We do training ourselves. That we go through. We don't expect our RAM counselors to do the loans. We ask them to be there to help people fill out the paperwork. A lot of times, you know, they may have trouble understanding what the application may need, and make sure that they gather the documents that we need. They help them put that together. They answer a lot of their concerns, and then they send that package to us, usually me, and then I take over. But our RAM counselors are so important, because if we didn't have them out there, people would have to travel our big state. So not only do we do training directly with our RAM counselors, but the aging services do a lot of their own training. They've got their SHIP counselors, and they also do training, because they also believe in this program and are very helpful.
So the person that's out watching today, if they want to know more about this, we're going to put the number on the screen. It's the Area Agency on Aging.
The number on the screen will be to the Montana Board of Housing.
Oh, great. Okay, so it will come to you, or you and your staff.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then we will find out what area they're in, answer any quick questions they may have, and then we will give them the counselor in their area.
Super. So you'll make that referral.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yes, we'll help them connect with them.
Great. Well, folks, again, this is a wonderful program. If you're a low to moderate income couple or person living in your own home, this might be for you. It might not, but it might be. So you want to check it out just to make sure, and just to see what's available. Call the number on the screen. You'll get a lot of help, and then you'll get referred on. And come back. We have a whole lot more to talk about today.
I was outside working on some equipment, nothing too strenuous. I started sweating and feeling out of breath.
When he felt pressure in his chest and aching in his arms, I knew we had to call 911.
First responders were there before we knew it. 38 minutes later, the doctors had restored the blood flow to my heart.
Now we know dialing 911 saved his life.
Your life is on the line.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
When I first got here, I was struggling. No money, sleeping on the living room floor of a friend's apartment.
Diana Johnson, Energy Share Coordinator.
I know what it's like to need a hand. Now that I work with Energy Share, I help people pay their winter heating bills. I don't care if you're a veteran, a senior citizen, have a family, or are single. Energy Share is here to help.
If you need help paying your power bills, call or visit Energy Share, helping Montana families get through the winter since 1984.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Aging Horizons. We're here with Rena Oliphant today talking about reverse annuity mortgages and the Montana Board of Housing. So good to have you back, Rena.
Thank you, Kim.
You know, off screen we were talking a little bit about the folks that you get to work with, and you have a couple that you can tell us about that are particularly poignant to you. Could you share with us?
Well, one really comes to mind. The person had had a family ranch and farm that they had had for generations, but over the time they had had to sell off parts and parts of the ranch.
Sure.
And got down to the point that there was not much left of the ranch, but it was the only home that he had ever had, and he was going to be losing it. The home was needing repairs, and he didn't know where he was going to go. Thankfully, he was put in touch with us. We were able to not only help save his home for him to still be in it, we were also able to use some of the funds to help put in new windows and a few minor repairs that he needed to do. After he got done with the closing and everything went through, he called me up and he was literally crying because he had been able to stay in his home. Sure. And that's what we live for. That's what that program is about.
Yeah. Well, and I think we all want to stay in our homes.
Exactly.
And in order to do that, we know we have to have financial stability and backing, and it's just a wonderful program.
And we also know that it's something that they're going to be able to still have something to leave to their family.
Yes, because so many want that.
Yes.
Even if it's not a lot, just a small amount is enough to show whatever care that they have.
To take care of whatever they need to take care of.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned something about putting in new windows possibly and stuff, because there's a $10,000 amount that might be able to be used for something like that.
Yeah, one of the things that we do offer is a possibility of a lump sum that you can receive after your closing.
Okay.
There's different criteria, there's different availabilities, but if you need a new roof and you're worried about, I'm not going to be able to get this loan because my roof needs to be repaired, or many types of things like that. As long as the loan can support it, we can offer you that lump sum to get those taken care of. And we can actually help you to make sure that the contractors get the job done for you, and we can help you make sure that nobody tries to take that money away from you. We can work with you.
Yeah.
We don't just set up a loan, close it, and then forget you. I mean, we're there every step of the way, and if for some reason during at any time, even up to 3 days after you sign closing papers, you can change your mind. Wow. There's no pressure. This is something that you decide if it works for you, but we will help you know and understand the program so you can make those decisions, and we can help you with a lot of those concerns you may have.
Yeah. What if a person has family or friends that they'd like to have hear the whole thing about the RAM? Is that okay? Have somebody help them?
Of course, that's up to them. Of course, we will follow all of the HIPAA laws and the privacy laws.
Right.
But if you want somebody else to help you and walk you through that, of course we would work with them. I have worked with people who had family that were attorneys, and they wanted those families to look at all the paperwork as the process went, and I worked with them very well.
Yeah, and you can see why.
Of course. We welcome that, and we want to make sure that they do understand.
Right. And again, you can cancel this up to 3 days after you've done the paperwork.
Yeah, you can go through the whole process, Every step of the way, I make sure that you do know what's going on, what's going to happen. And if you decide at the last minute or at any time, you just have to say, I think I'm going to wait, or maybe this isn't for me, and we will say, no problem. This is not a pressure.
Great. Well, let's just once more go through the process of application. How do people get to you, etc., before we end up our show today?
Sure. You can call the phone number that you guys will be putting up. They will direct your phone call to myself or maybe another staff member that may be there if I'm not. And then we will answer some of the questions that you may have, explain the basics of the program, and then we will give you the contact of the aging services counselor in your area.
Oh, great.
Then you will call them, you will set up an appointment with them, you'll go in and they will help you fill out the application, they'll work with you, they'll make sure that they have all of the data or documents, and then once they do that, they'll send that to us. And then once I get that package, the first thing I'll do is I'll look through it. There's no credit needed. Mostly what we want to make sure is that the loan will be able to be supported by your home and how much you want. And then I will contact you directly, and then we will also send a letter. And then from there we will work on getting an appraisal set up. You do not have to have any out-of-pocket money to pay for anything. If you get an appraisal, we'll pay that appraiser directly for us, because they have learned over the years they don't really like RAM loans, but if it's a Montana Board of Housing, they're happy to do it. And a lot of times they'll even give us a break on the cost.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and then once we know what's appraised, we can tell you what we can loan up to the $150,000. Then we'll do the title search and closing. All of those costs we will take care of paying, and we will add it to your loan. You don't have to come up with any out-of-pocket money.
Marina, that just sounds wonderful and such a great help for folks who just need a little bit more each month to get by. Again, we know prices go up on everything all the time. Unfortunately, our salary doesn't necessarily go up, especially if we're on a fixed income. So this is a way of making sure you can stay in your home as long as possible.
And if you do get all of those 10 years of payments, and the payments are no longer coming in, nothing changes. You do not have to pay that loan back. The loan does not become due until you no longer live in your home on a permanent basis.
That's awesome. Marina, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been a great show and great information. And folks, check it out. The number's on the screen. For Aging Horizons, I'm Kimmy Everman.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.